Yeah, Garrett, did you like the Planet of the Apes movie?
I did like the Planet of the Apes movie. I thought it was the perfect amount of like callbacks to that first one, because you had like all the main character apes were all kind of main personality apes. Apes from the first film that were all locked up with Caesar in the facility that he was locked up in. But the way the story progressed and like the way the 3D. I went and saw it in 3D.
Oh yeah, I didn't. I didn't even know it was in 3D.
That like for me hides enough of the CG whatever to make it just like it's fun, totally believable. Like Andy Serkis apparently did all of the like main ape movements and stuff.
Oh wow.
And the CG is like at a point now where, especially with the 3D layer over it, I think it looks really good. And I was totally like just immersed in it and enjoyed it for what it was. Cheesy acting, in all honesty, from like the human characters at times.
Yeah.
Gary Oldman, his speeches to the crowds of like motivation, the last surviving like human city and stuff, just seemed a little like.
But there's really no way around that in Planet of the Apes.
But that's where
that's what you get from Planet of the Apes.
I thought it was like the perfect amount of like a little bit of hokey, cheesy stuff, but really cool like fighting action scenes. Like music was good, everything was good about it.
Yeah,
I liked it a lot.
I think my review of Dawn of the Planet of the Apes is pretty much. I was telling them it's pretty much the same as the new Star Trek that came out, and. Where like the first one came out, you know, this new kind of revitalization of the series, and it kind of had everything to prove. You know, it's just kind of like, oh, we're doing another one of these. How's that gonna go? And it kind of is just like, wow, out of nowhere, whoa, that was cool. Whoa, that was really cool. And it kind of goes from like 0 to 100. Like, whoa, I had no expectations because I thought this series was kind of over, but you know what I mean? It takes you that far. And then this one is just kind of like, it starts at 100 and is at 100 the whole time. And it's not bad. You can't lose. I mean, it's fun to watch, but it's like, yeah, it was just more. That was how I felt about it. Yeah, it was fun. I will say that as a long time like Planet of the Apes fan, it didn't really like affect me very much. It was fun to watch, but that was kind of it. And it was over. I was like, all right. It didn't really have much to say, and I kind of felt like it didn't really take a risk. In terms of, if you go back and watch the old Planet of the Apes movies, and even the last one that came out before this, they take a significant amount of risk. The old Planet of the Apes movies would end in horrific situations. They would end in every character you know blowing up, and then, all right, roll credits. I mean, they would go there. And even the last one that came out had a fair amount of risk to it, and this one I felt like it didn't really end in a spot that was different than how it began. It was you were kind of still in that area of humans watch out. Okay, you know, so I don't know. I thought it was all right. It was fun to watch, but so yeah, that was my review. Kevin went too.
Set up for another one. You think they'll make it?
But that's just it. It's like, we're in a spot where it's just like, I guess we'll do another one. You know, it doesn't really like...
It made money, so yeah, they'll make it.
Okay.
Yeah.
They'll make at least 3 more, just like the originals.
You know, and I kind of was sitting in the theater thinking like, man, it's weird they like started this franchise up again. But then I thought back to like, nah, they take long breaks, but this has always been like, there's always been like the Planet of the Apes movies in the old days with the way the apes look or whatever. Yeah. And then we got, like, I always forget, but we got that, like, Mark Wahlberg Planet of the Apes, which was like, hey, they made another Planet of the Apes. And then these new ones with the CG technology.
That was Tim Burton directed.
That was Paul Giamatti as that, like, orangutan thing.
Yeah.
Good review, you guys.
But thank you. But given, though, how this all wrapped up. What?
I apologize.
Given how it all wrapped up, though, okay, let's say right now, okay, they're going to put out another one.
Yeah.
Which I guess is confirmed. What's it going to be? That's what I'm saying is, like, this one, I feel like this one should have been end of the world shit, and it really wasn't. And so I guess that's the next one. You know, that's what kind of soured me, is it didn't really end in a way where a fucking line was drawn.
So, they didn't, like, spoiler, but they didn't kill every human. Like they're all not all dead. Like 'cause that to me is like
the next one is going to be called World War Ape, and it's going to be
it's gonna be bananas.
Yeah.
Apparently,
this shit's gonna fly.
I read a news article about how news articles are just getting retarded with all the puns when they were announcing like anything.
Hey, here's the thing. I haven't seen the new Planet of the Apes movie. I was kind of turned off by the ads because they are reviewing it like it is the greatest addition to cinema ever in the history of time. Literally, they're calling it one of the greatest movies of the year. One of the best movies ever made.
Do you think back to like Idiocracy and feel like, wow, it's really already starting to happen? Like the little things we saw in Idiocracy where movies would just get dumber and dumber and the movie titles would get stupider and stupider.
Yeah, I can see that. I'm often reminded of Idiocracy.
There was a trailer before this for Denzel Washington as the fixer or the eliminator or something. It was like the most generic action movie, just a normal guy. But then something happens, and he's got to go up against the entire Russian mafia. And he's got no training, but he's going to train himself.
You know what?
And go after them and kill everybody without fail in 4 seconds. And it took 5. Damn. Explosion in the back. I mean, it's like, is this a parody that they paid him to be in? But no, it's like a real movie they're making.
Yeah, I miss slow movies. I really like
drama.
Just like drawn out, like slow burners. And I feel like they just don't make them like that anymore.
I agree.
And that's,
you have to get independent.
And that's another thing that I'm saying with this. Again, I had a good time, but it was at 100 from the beginning to the end.
Yeah.
You know, and I never felt like it from the second this movie, the Apes movie started. Apes are fighting people, and it is that. And I don't know. It was fine. I had a lot of fun. If you're looking for like a movie to go see with people, you can't go wrong with it. It's fun to watch.
I left the theater making monkey noises, and I drove home just kind of.
You should not admit that.
It's cool the way
that's offensive to apes.
They talk in the movie sometimes, but then there's a lot of like they've learned sign language and they communicate a lot. But then some of the more intelligent ones will kind of use sign language and speak the sounds a little bit too. Say so. And I don't know, it's just really fun like mimicking that on my drive home. I had a lot of fun with it.